tonight we did get approval from Apple. We have started our beta testing with our first social sharing game. It's the first of its kind. It's truly crowd generated content. It is in the App Store as we speak in Australia. And we're using Australia and New Zealand as, once again, the beta market for that. And so get prepared in the upcoming weeks because these stats that you're getting ready to learn are going to become more and more valuable to you as you start leveling up and powering up your ability to play the game at a higher level. And so that is a very long introduction, but it's a privilege and pleasure to have Craig Jorgensen calling from down under Perth, Australia. Craig, are you online with us?
I sure am. Thanks for that intro, Brian. And I can confirm that I've just gone to the App Store and I can see Photo Gallery sitting right there, live in the store.
It's exciting. It's definitely exciting. And the cool thing about that is every one of you on this telephone line, you're not going to have a heavy-handed sales pitch to bring someone on board within the Rippln community. The only thing you have to do is ask them to play this game with you. And so it's going to be exciting. And one of the things we're talking about tonight, Craig, is how we're going to be tracking all of these activities, but doing it in a format that's truly gamified. And this is something that we went over in Dallas, and it literally just went live this week. And I know a lot of people, see it, but I think it's really good to do a deep dive to really help them understand the flow of it and the power of this play tab. So if you would, kind of walk us through the purpose of it, some of the feature sets of it, and then the really the amount of time and energy, because I can tell you that 98% of the companies out there could not pull something like this off. And I know you've been really behind the scenes, not only working on the experience, but also really being a patch and a bridge to all the technology development and all the technology team that we have deployed from Dallas to Minnesota as well as Russia, and integrating all these components so all these different systems can read and integrate with each other.
Yeah, that's a very good summary for sure. And it should point out as well that I mean it's the biggest component I'd say of the system so far, and it's probably going to be one of the most fluid ones. So there'll be constant updates and iterations and tweaking as we get user feedback and we see what's working and what needs to be added. And I think anything around stats, that's always going to be the case. But I'd say what we're leading with here is pretty powerful in the sort of depth that you're starting to see now into the Ripple and being delivered I guess just the easy, simple stats as far as this is what you need to achieve to get to the next level.
No,
So
definitely. And I think one of the things that you did such an incredible job of is really, and we talk about it, guru mentality versus current credibility. And one of the things that this does is it creates transparency, which is a word we're using quite a bit. But as people are playing the game, they have transparency to see who has the current credibility of activity and the people that they should be focused on. So one of the things that I know that we decided to do is not create a list of the thousands and thousands of people, but yet have really the hot data coming up to you so you can engage, the people that are the closest to helping you level up.
yeah, exactly, and that's a core component. Just because I mean, it's amazing. Even just so far, just this week, it's just incredible the terabytes of data and how quick it's being chewed up, basically, and how quick we're adding more bandwidth and capabilities to the back end system as all these stats are being tracked. So I mean, as you can see, just on this screen alone, I'll just go to a more zoomed in version. But um, I mean, do you want us to kick off with maybe the circles in the middle, Brian? Because I think that's probably the most sort of core piece to it. Just at a glance as far as where you are on your current level and what you need to do next.
Yeah, definitely. And if you would, Craig, just pretend like even with me that I'm a complete newbie. I'm just getting integrated with the Rippln community, and I go to this screen. I might be like, well, what in the heck does this mean? What is blue, yellow? What's a bolt mark? So yeah, just kind of walk us through it and the
Yeah,
purpose behind each one of the buttons.
yeah. So just a couple of quick things I'll point out. So at the top there, you've got you notice that little more button. So when you click that more button, that'll actually expand and show you who your team captain is, along with give you access to the latest rewards plan PDF documents, which obviously have the full-blown descriptions on all the nitty-gritties of the rewards plan for those of you looking for it. Then on the right-hand side, you've got your current level being displayed, which is the current level based on the current period that we're in. So, for example, if we were in the first week of September for the coaching rewards, or the month of September, it's going to be showing that level for where you've currently reached, versus the next one along being your paid level, which is actually the one which you previously qualified for in the previous period. So you can always see at a glance what you qualified at last time and what you are on track to qualify for this period. Also on the right, you've got your high score, just so you can see what the highest level you've actually qualified at, and that will actually eventually tie into when you're viewing profiles of your Rippln, so you can actually see at a glance whether somebody might be at a level 4, for example, but you might see that they've actually been up as high as a level 7 or who knows what. So you can get a bit of a pulse on where they've been in the past.
Yeah, excellent. I think that really the importance of also the hotkeys is, you might want to kind of cover that to where, not only can they see their current level, but the information of the players that, are on those hotkeys and how they can engage those
Yep,
individuals that they click on it actually
absolutely.
comes up.
Yeah, so and with the circles in the middle, so essentially you've got four key stats that you're tracking there in order to level up. The fourth one across, the locked button, you'll only see that stat open once, I believe it's level 5 that you get to, because that's when it comes into play. So if you're not there yet, then it's just the left 3 that you're focusing on. And that's where essentially you're tracking fans on the first one, you're tracking players on the second one, and then you're tracking total Rippln fans on the third one. So the first one with the flag, that is just Rippln fans, and then you've got your players, and then it's total Rippln fans. So that's across your entire Rippln for that third stat. So the progress bars around the edge of that is indicating where you're at for that particular stat. So once you've actually hit the requirement, it'll turn green and show it with a tick. But in the meantime, it'll show you progress towards that. So at a glance, you very quickly see that, okay, yeah, I've ticked off, say, 2 of them, and there's just one more that I need to continue with. And so that's where then you can click on that stat and actually open up into the expanded view. So each one of those circles actually has an expanded view that dives deeper into the details for that specific stat. Does that make sense, bro?
No, it definitely makes sense. And, from a gamification perspective, we talk about behavior of making it fun is a lot of people, once they first come in, the reward system and how they get compensated, instead of focusing on all the nuances of that, if they just focus on going through the different progress bars, and making a game out of it, that once they hit and those status bars go all the way around, it will automatically level them up into a level 1 player, level 2 player, level 3 player, level 4 player, level 5 player, and then they'll unlock new components of the game, and then they just follow those instructions of how many team fans they need, how many personal fans, how many players, and then that automatically makes them an all-star player, which all of that activity is driving rewards, points, or money, that the compensation is calculating for them. So one doesn't have to memorize how the compensation works. The only thing they have to do is play the game, earn points, and as they start mastering the different levels, checks and reward points will start coming into them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I mean, it's really, like you said, just taking it on the face value, I guess, and letting the back end do its thing. This is an example just brought up here of the detail you get once you have got that fourth stat unlocked, where you're actually looking for level 5 players within your Rippln. So here's where you can get access to seeing your top 10 teams, which are teams being your members in your Rippln 1. And you can see there's a lot of drill down data showing here. On under each one, you can actually click on, say, one of your Ripple one, and then see within their team who are the people who are closest to hitting that level, based on the current levels that they're at. So you can see, for example, Dan Aykroyd, so he's got 9 out of 10 for the requirement of Ripple One fans. Shows you how many spectators he's got, so you can get a feel for what he's got to work with, how many pro players, how many players are available. And I should point out this: some of the stats in this screen have already been tweaked and updated just based on a few things been happening over the last week or so. But I'm sure you get the gist of what you can actually pull from this screen. One of the little things you'll notice we'll be adding shortly is actually the user's current rank in this screen, for example. So already we're seeing certain little gaps in the system and that which will fill as quickly as possible.
And, and I think that is a great point. Is that we talk a lot about the feedback loop from all the players that are playing with us, really making this company what it's destined to be. But from a from a user interface and usability perspective, we want to hear what can make it better. And I think that everyone needs to understand, number one, the time and energy that's gone in. And number one, Craig, how many millions of stats or data has already been pulled just for this initial framework of the gamification and the play tab?
Uh, Put it this way, it's rapidly approaching a billion plus.
A
So we won't
billion.
be talking millions soon.
Yeah, a billion plus stat. I mean, that's all the data that's coming from the servers that the basically the brain is pulling, ladies and gentlemen. And the point is that we want to keep this simple so people can use it with the things that are most pertinent. But I think what Craig, in the illustration that Craig was making, is that there's going to be constant enhancements. It's just like with an app in the App Store. You see constant updates and constant evolution. And those updates and evolution will also come because of the feedback loop. So we want to hear from you on, what stats you would want to see and what new features in this gamification play tab that would help you accelerate your progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, I don't know if you want me to take a second just to, I don't have a visual of it right here, but that third stat across for the total Ripple fans, is it worth just touching on the details of that particular stat and the way the 50% qualification works?
Yeah, I think that would be great. Do you want to do that, or do you want me?
Yeah, no, I think I can grab that one. It would be easier, obviously, with the visual, but what you'll notice in this area is you're basically given a goal of, let's say it's 100 total Ripple fans, for example. So if the qualifying amount is 100 total Ripple fans, then that means that no more than 50 of that, so 50% of the qualifying amount, can come from one Ripple or one team. So it doesn't mean that if you've got, say, 1,000 total Ripple fans, it doesn't mean that then no one can have, they can't have more than 500, for example. It's purely based around the qualifying amount. So in that case of 100, you could have 50 from one leg, and then you could basically have the balance filling in from anywhere else in the other Ripples.
Yeah, and and all of these stats will become second nature for everyone on how it's designed to give you a quick glance so you can have more speed or acceleration to engage with the players that you need to engage and drive the proper activity. So many times through the years with any business, I see people that they engage in busy work instead of engaging in the activity that is progress that moves them forward to the next level. And so one of the things, Craig, I think is important is we were going to do a live feed of this, but due to internet connections, we want to make sure it was clean for everyone tonight. But we will be doing a video tutorial that would be live that we'll capture with a screencast and posting for everyone in the upcoming weeks. So,
Correct. And what we'd like to do with that is just let things settle over the next sort of seeing it is so fresh. We just want to have the chance to make a few tweaks and everything so we can make that live video as beneficial as possible and as much of a tool as possible to use.
Exactly. So I see you pulled up another screen here, opening up the different ranks and points and the commissions.
Correct. So this is just touching on the loyalty rewards and coaching rewards, where you can basically track via that little graphic, the badge there. That's basically indicating whether you've got to say pro player status or all pro and MVP, all those all the crazy titles for everything. But once again, at a glance, you can see very quickly whether you've hit the top rank for that. And then also get a sense of okay, where's the volume coming from? Who are my top 10 people who are producing that volume to power me up?
Yes, and we were
Um,
talking.
it,
Go ahead.
sorry, just in this history as well. That's obviously something which is going to be ever expanding as far as what we display in there. For example, we're already talking about doing a concept of having the ability to show basically what the rewards are, but then also a comparison line as far as what the rewards are, including the bonuses based on the rank level that you've hit. So at a glance, you can see, well, this is what I've earned in rewards because I hit, for example, the All Pro player rank.
Excellent. Yeah, and the thing I love about this is you're constantly seeing the top leaderboard for people that are in your ripples and in your 10 ripple that you can engage. So you're constantly seeing the current credibility real time,
Mm-hmm.
versus having to speculate on who's actually active and who's close to going to that next level.
Yeah, and another thing as well, which I'm sure people are probably curious on, or they will be soon, but I mean, in here we're going to have another tab as well for the actual different volumes from not on a per person basis, but on a per product, for example. So you'll be able to see a similar style table where instead of people, it will show you, okay, well, here's where most of my volumes come from. It could be a particular loyalty offer. It could be an app. It could be from an app's in-app purchases. It could be from Case Monkey. It could be from any one of the different partners or products.
Yes, and once again for everyone, I mean, this to me is the most, and if you talk to people that really are using this and engaging in it, it not only makes it cool, it makes it fun, and so it's everything that you see is real time. It's real transparency, and if you have any feedback and suggestions, we definitely want to hear those. So make sure that you send those in, and the whole key to moving forward in life is not getting caught up in things that don't produce production, and so that's why this entire process is all about leveling up and helping you get rewarded, because the more you level up, the more rewards you're going to earn in the game. And how you level up within our game with our reward system is by helping other people level up, and so that's this entire dashboard, the entire play tab is so you're playing to win.
Indeed. So should we stop it there for the play tab today and switch gears?
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of the play tab was not to give you a really a super deep dive, but more a highlight of what was released this week. And we will be getting that tutorial video out on it, in the upcoming week to 10 days. But have fun with it, play with it, experiment with it, and this is going to be basically your dashboard, your real time statistics and your play tab, helping you get to the next level around the world. And right now I think is a perfect time, Craig, to really go into one of the most anticipated initiatives and movements that Rippln has really spearheaded the entire conversation with, and that is our chat communicator. And I can't tell everyone enough in terms of how much time and energy and sweat that Craig has into the entire space of chat communication, and from an
Everyone
app.
gets a bonus drip of sweat with every download.
There you go. There you go. So, but I would like to just give, Craig, kind of like what we did in Dallas, is just, give everyone a preview and understanding of the timeline, because, one of the things we talk about is constant innovation. And I know you started on really being a pioneer in this space, just from a user experience perspective, and designing out and specking out some of the best feature sets for communication apps literally over 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. We got to a point as we were developing ours, we got 99% of it done. And the growth that we created because of the Rippln conversation gave us the opportunity to do a lot more. And so I'd love for you to kind of start this entire conversation out, so people understand a little of the backstory, and then more importantly, give them a sneak peek on and some updates on what we're getting ready to release, in the upcoming 60 to 90 days, and the impact that you believe it's going to have in this marketplace.
Absolutely. So yeah, like you touched on, we've have certainly got quite a history in building as far as what we've done so far with the original version. It, like you said, 99.9% done. We're all using it internally, testing it and everything, and it was very cool. And it's a real shame that we sort of hit. It's a bittersweet thing. We hit the amount of users that we did, and so before we wanted to launch that to the marketplace, we got all the due diligence done on whether it could handle it from a back end perspective without blowing up. And the grim reality was that it would not be able to handle the level of traffic and concurrent users that we were seeing based on the stats through the website. So we just literally thought it would be irresponsible to put it out there in the full knowledge that it wasn't going to be able to scale to what we already knew we were capable of scaling to. So that's what led us to just have to pull back essentially and reassess what to do next. And then instead of just diving off into rebuilding it the exact same way, we sort of just had to stop for a second, because I mean it had been in production for over a year, and all the research before that, a lot of it was based around features that were hot at the time. But since then, as you can see on the screen, all the various competitors and people with different product offerings, but all with a sort of common thread. And we didn't want to end up in the position where we came to the party late versus coming basically inventing our own new party again with something new and innovative.
No, exactly. And, this is one time that, we really made a major adjustment because of growth. And, one of the things that we had to make a pretty decisive and quick decision on is once, we hit 100,000 users in 5 days, and that ramped up to a million, in 60 days. We had to look at is what the reach of those million people had once we released this app. And the reality of it is that if we got 20 million downloads of this app, then we actually have to have the bandwidth, the server power, and the middleware that is going to be storing all this information and kicking it out. And remember, tracking everything, because everything is connected in with that chat, or the play tab that you just saw. Is we had to make sure that we could sustain that type of growth, because with that many users, we could reach 10, 20 million downloads, or 100,000, 200,000 people chatting at the same time. And we went out and got a third party firm that is the best of the best to really do a full analysis of it. And they said, listen, your app is great. It has a lot of incredible features, and with filtering groups, because that's really what our core focus is, right? We understand how to build communities better than anyone in the world, and that's what Rippln is all about. And that's something that Craig truly focused on, is how to filter and how to utilize group communication as a real tool. All of those filters and feature sets will be introduced into this app. However, we'll toggle the release of it, which Craig can talk a little bit about later. But one of the things that we didn't want to do is put so many people on the app that we couldn't sustain the speed, and the app would break. And so at that time, we said, you know what, let's completely rebuild it. and rebuild it for massive success. And in doing that, it really gave us an opportunity to innovate. And as you all are going to be the ones to start driving this communication tool out in the market, you're going to see it evolve version one, version two, version three very fast once we release it. But upon release, you're going to see something that the interface, the experience, there's nothing else out there like it. It's truly one of a kind. And I know that Craig got super excited because he loves to do dashboards like this and design layouts. And so, Craig, kind of tell us, how excited you got and what your thought process was going into now having a clean canvas to really do something that hadn't been done and to innovate to bring more value to more people.
Yeah, I think there's just a big opportunity there to do something a little bit different. I mean, there's we look at all the apps that are currently out there and they've all got a common thread running through them. They've all got like probably at least 50% or more overlap in the features. And even just in the way that you actually consume the apps and consume the messages and communication and the way you interact, they are all very similar. So this left it wide open, I think, to look at it a little bit differently, and that's what we did. So we just tried to say, okay, well, what are people not doing? What would be cool? What do people like about all these social apps that are out there, such as Instagram and other ones that have more of a social style feed? How could we introduce something like that into the whole communication and messaging space, just so that people see something a little bit different and fresh, and keeps the experience really fun. So that's essentially what we did. We literally just went back to square one, and came up with a whole new concept which delivers the correct feature set, I think, which we need and what will evolve into just like the original app, but we'll do it in such a way, like Brian said, where we'll stage it, and we're sort of leading our front foot with video to start with this time, and then we'll basically make up all the other features as we hit the road. But we don't want to try and basically bite everything off and make everyone wait another year to get all those features versus coming out with an MVP, minimum viable product that we can get out there and start using.
Very cool. So, kind of walk us through what we're going to experience, here in upcoming fall, once we, turn the Rippln Communicator app on.
Yeah, so on screen here you can see this is the core of it. This is the main activity feed. So I'll just explain a couple of things here, because once you get the general concept, I think everyone will understand pretty quickly how the general concept works. So what we're looking at here is a feed which can be scrolled vertically up and down, just like you would with a Facebook feed. And when you do that, you're actually scrolling through the different conversations that you have with your friends. So on screen, you can see you've got Casey Affleck, which is one conversation I'm having. If I kept scrolling down, then I might have one with Brian, I could have one with Terry, I could have one with all these different people. And that's where I'm scrolling vertically. However, instead of then just clicking on one of those conversations and then having to go into another whole page to communicate with that person, I can simply swipe left and right to access the conversation and the history of the conversation with that person, and respond to them directly from this feed. So it actually sort of fuses multiple steps and screens into one simple interface with lots of interaction.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, to me, the user interface here is just so easy. It really it goes into what a term I learned several years ago called Twitch marketing and Twitch usability. Meaning, in today's market, everyone's on the go, and that's really what apps are meant to do. They're meant to make our life easier, right? As we're on the go, to where literally we can just pull out our phones and with the twitch of our thumb, we can operate more effectively and efficiently. And that's what this interface does, but it also gives us a truly a more social, interactive, and engaging experience because of all of the videos and the pictures being right there in front of us. It is a lot more personable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's yeah one of the cool things is that you can get inside the app and messaging someone so quick. So if you've received a video from someone and you open it up, it's going to be there at the top of your feed. And if you want to respond, you're literally right there where you can see the little camera button circled. You could tap and hold to instantly record a up to a 15-second video back to that person. So without even having to do it, a click and go into another screen, then select the messaging format and so on. It's just, yeah, it's right there at your fingertips.
It's Twitch marketing. It's literally done in less than 3 steps. It's boom, boom, and it's gone.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's and that also helps with the speed of conversation and around the world. And one of the things that I think is important to note for everyone listening in is remember this is incentivized sharing. So this is absolutely free. However, you know, so a lot of people might want longer than 15-second videos, Craig. So are we going to be able to offer them, any other feature sets in the future to give them more time?
Absolutely. So there'll be a range of things such as that where you could actually get yourself to an unlimited status if you wanted. So there'll be various in-app purchases. So we're really trying to just lay the foundation where for a majority of people, giving them what is probably enough, but then for the power users and the people who use it a lot, ways to upgrade it and build it and customize it to suit the way they use it.
Excellent. No, I mean it's
Um,
very cool, and the cool thing about that is people will want some of those premium features that might be $1.99, $2.99, $4.99. Who knows what they are? But as those get released, all of those in-app purchases you're getting rewarded for as people within the communities are using these other feature sets, which is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And as we all know from all the sticker craze, for example, where it's amazing how something as simple as sending people like little stickers and icons and things within a chat feed, for example, how many billions of dollars that generates for all the various apps out there. So it's yeah, it's begging for something else to come along that's equally as viral and cool and to replace that current trend that's happening. We'll be right there at the front of it.
Very cool. So, do you have any other goodies that you can show everyone just to give them a little bit more
Of
perspective?
course. So let's jump in here. So on the in the similar vein to what we're doing with the activity feed, we thought we'd also spice up the way you actually view and control your friends list. So what we're doing is you can see on this screen each line is actually a letter of the alphabet. So you scroll vertically for A to Z, and then you swipe left to right to actually scroll within that particular letter. So, for example, if I wanted to like look at or find somebody named Daniel, then I'd scroll down to D, and then I'd scroll left to right until I find them in there. So it's sort of more of a grid view and just gives you more to look at, more to look at once, and it's easier to access than having like a thousand friends all in one vertical list. But the other cool thing it does is it lays the foundation for what we're doing with groups and communities, whereby we'll basically introduce the groups piece right onto this screen where you'll be able to drag and drop to create new groups, which will be yeah, really cool.
Yeah, not only drag and drop, but all this can be done with one finger, A, and then B, the flexibility of it is you actually you can always override it and go right to the person's name through the scroll or the search feature as well.
Exactly, yeah. So you just pull down to reveal the search feature, just like most apps. So you could jump straight to somebody. Another cool thing as well is if you come into the app and you just particularly want to send a quick message to a certain person, you can just jump straight into this friend screen. And once you've located the person, you can just tap and hold on their profile pic, and it will initiate a video message instantly, as you can see in the top left. So you don't even need to sort of go into their profile or anything to initiate a message. It's all just, once again, just putting like the things that people do all the time in a real easy to access way.
Excellent. No, love it, love it. And then I see one of the things here which you might just want to touch on again, where it looks at Andy Jones, and you have the blue line going over to the video.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the push to hold. So push to record. So I could tap on Andy Jones and hold it, and it will initiate that screen in the top left. And so then as soon as I let go, that message will go to him. So yeah, that's where I haven't had to drill down into any other screens. I've literally recorded a message to Andy direct from his friend's screen without having to drill deeper.
Excellent. So, and I want people to hear that. The simplicity is what makes something very impactful in today's market. Soon as you see your friend, you don't have to click on them, go to the chat screen, and then chat. Literally, you just press on Andy Jones, you talk, you let go, and he visually sees you, whether you're doing the camera that faces you or the camera that faces out. So, very cool stuff. And then, from there, Craig, um, the video feature and the sequence. I know that there's going to be a lot of cool features, not only in being able to send messages, but also, canceling out or deleting it before it gets sent and things like that. So, talk about the hold to record or tap to record feature.
Yeah, so the hold to record is for the people who don't mind being candid and just start recording immediately. So from that home screen we were looking at before, when you tap and hold on the record button, it'll just jump straight into this recording screen. However, if you suddenly get stage fright or something goes wrong, you can just keep your finger on the screen and drag it down to that little trash can in the bottom left to actually cancel the message before it sends.
Cool stuff.
Um, the, then the tap to record. So we also have the option though to actually take your time. And so if you just want to tap once on the record button on the home screen, it'll take you into this mode where it gives you the ability to tap once, it'll start recording. Then you hit, tap it again to stop, and then you've got the opportunity to replay the message if you just want to check it before it goes out, or you could refresh and start over basically before sending. So you've got both options.
Love it. Love it. I mean,
And then,
to
yeah,
me,
obviously you've got the
I,
text.
it was funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said I've probably downloaded, 22 chat apps in the last 6 months, right? And
Yeah,
someone was asking me about, what are the fastest moving growing chat apps, and I said, well, the new movement is really going into video and video communication, and what we're doing is really, I think, taking that to the next level. And what they're seeing here is the interface of it. But as we release version 2, version 3, version 4 on top of this, the amount of feature sets for those grouping in the community builds and using it as a
hmm
true tool is going to be, light years ahead of what anybody's doing.
yeah, absolutely. It definitely lays a great foundation. I mean, we've got a stack of stuff that we've got lined up for future versions and everything, but and it's all going to sort of be centered around this one simple interface, though, which I think is really cool. I've got a slide here just to summarize what version one is going to sort of have around it, and then what's going to come in future versions. So, like version one, for example, is going to be login only with an existing Rippln account. You can auto search your contacts for other Ripplers so that you'll have people to chat to straight away. And we'll be including video and text chat in version one.
And the reason for that is to get it. I mean, there's two things. Remember, and I always use Facebook as an example because most of us understand it as a global view. Facebook started with very simple, basic features. And as we became users, we were trained on that platform. They started adding complexity, but they never added complexity before they had a base of people that were used to the interface. And that's exactly what we're following. As best practices is start
Yeah,
simple where people can get the impact of the personalization of the video chat and video talking. And then as people get used to that and hooked on it, where it's their primary form of communication, then we integrate in a very quick fashion all of the community chats, the in-app purchases, the upgrades, and really incentivizing you now that you're experts using it and you have your core people using it. Now it's about incentivized sharing and really making a major impact. So one of the things, Craig, that I think you might want to help people understand is, version one is the key in the base. And once that base is there, I guess the frequency of seeing different updates could be every 60 days, every 60, 90 days.
At worst, I'd say. I mean, yeah, that would be. It depends on the complexity of the features. I mean, ideally, we'd like to go into a more rapid iteration cycle than that, so that we're actually, giving new features and having the updates come through the App Store quite regularly, which I think is great to help keep you all engaged in what's happening, and so you can see the progression of things. So once again, learning from I guess the previous 12 months of trying to do too much at once versus just bite-sized chunks to keep delighting everyone.
Excellent. No, I agree 1,000%. And so, with that being said, I shared this story earlier with Andrea Valandrin and a group out of Boise, Idaho. But our original release date on our Rippln Communicator app was I think October 12th to November 12th of last year. Then in April we were, like I said, 98% finished with the original version. And then by May, we knew that we couldn't sustain the demand that we had in the marketplace. And so, we really pushed our time frames back about 120 days or so for this communication app, or you could say a year in progress. But I
Yeah,
think it's definitely worth waiting for. And I told the story this afternoon, about Bill Gates and when he was releasing Microsoft Windows. He was 2 years late on his release date, and when they interviewed him, they said, "You're late. The marketplace, they're mad about it." He goes, "Well, why would they be mad? We're not 2 years late. We're 5 years ahead of everyone else." And the impact that this is going to have off of people communicating around the world, and some of the new feature sets that we have that will be added in over the next 6 to 12 months. That innovation alone to me was worth the wait, and everything happens for a reason. And I think, Craig, just on this public forum, I know that I understand how much energy and time and sweat and you've put your whole life into this initiative. I mean, truly, you and your wife, Charlotte, that's what you all been doing for the last 30 months. And I just want to tell you on behalf of the entire community, and I know everyone from Dallas to Russia to Minnesota, how much we truly appreciate you and thank you. And you might want to share with everyone, why you got so passionate about communication and chat, and what do you really feel that this app, based on the feature sets and the interface, the type of impact it can make. And you've seen every single one out there.
yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, I just love the process of creation and innovation. And I think just what the coolest thing to me about the whole project, as far as where we're at right now with this app, is that I truly feel like it positions us right there with the coolest of them, with the feature set and the look and the feel, and just overall the experience. I think is just such a powerful conversation to have with people when you attach it to the overall Rippln concept. So I think standalone, it's another app in a big wide open marketplace. But when you actually tie it into the overall Rippln concept, then that's the gel, and that's what is the unique differentiator. I think when it starts to tie into all the other things that we're also doing within Rippln. So I mean, yes, standalone, it's cool and everything, but it's that it's the integration with the bigger picture, which I think is truly exciting.
And in closing, just to give them an idea, don't give away, don't give away the whole cookie. Just give them a crumble. But one of the features this will have on it is, all your Ripple One fans, that are on your Ripple One or players. When you download the app, you'll have instant access to them. Is that correct?
Correct. So that is in the hopper for sure. Is one of the yeah, that'll be one of the first iterations actually. That whole ability to be able to have that communication and ease of communication with your first Ripple by way of that becoming essentially a group that you have access to. So I think that'll be really cool.
Very cool. Well, I know it's early morning there, and I know you didn't go to bed till between 3 and 4 last night. You're back over in Australia. We can't wait to get you back here in the states. And
Time for breakfast.
there you go. And say hi to Boris. Is that Boris on the front of the phone there?
It's Boris to be.
So Craig's new baby puppy Boris. So But Craig, no, thanks for everything you're doing, and I know that we've taken a lot of everyone's time tonight. Hopefully, it's definitely worth it. And your vision's expanded, and you have a broader understanding, really, of some of the utilities like the chat utility, as well as the play tab and features that is really going to give you the competitive edge in the marketplace and allow you to really drive communities and create a ripple effect to go across the world. And so, with that being said, Craig, I'd love to just adjourn. Huge congratulations to everyone within the Ripple. Get ready to play a little photo guesseroo here in the upcoming weeks. Remember that we're using the market right now, marketplace of New Zealand and Australia as beta testers. So if you're in the U.S. market or other markets, it will be in that store shortly. Let us get through some testing on it to make sure we work out any bugs. And with that being said, Craig, any closing remarks?
No, just thank you also. All the thanks for all the nice remarks, and right back at you, and look forward to doing it all again.
For sure. Well, we definitely, and make sure that you're going to be at the October 25th event in Vegas, correct?
I hope so. It'd be a shame to miss out in Vegas.
My point by saying that is for everyone that's on the line, make sure that you get to Vegas and meet Craig because as talented as he is, he's even a better person. So we definitely appreciate it. We are going to sign off. I'm going to turn it over to Michael Rutherford and let him shut it down. Any housekeeping items, and we look forward to seeing everyone in Vegas. And with that being said, is get your Ripple on.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Craig. Thanks so much for diving into everything. If you haven't read your phones or been on Facebook yet, people are losing their minds. So we're very happy that everybody could be on, get visuals of the Communicator app, the chat app, the play tab, the information on Guesseroo, the updates on Vegas, and then also the upcoming Saturday Hangout Saturday morning at 12 noon Eastern. Guys, the game is on right now. There's no more sort of sitting on your hands and waiting to see what Rippln does. We've shown you what's happening, and it's really time to lace up our cleats and go to work. So, Brian, always a pleasure. Craig, super, super fun stuff. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome night. Bye-bye.